The annual Williams family photo session at Dad's 60th birthday was proceeding with its usual military precision. Mother orchestrating everyone into their assigned positions based on their contribution to the family legacy. Thomas, front and center, Harvard Business School and managing partner. She directed my older brother. Sarah, next to Thomas, Yale Law senior counsel. My sister took her prestigious spot. Then came the familiar pause when they reached me. Emily, perhaps you could just help the photographer? Mother suggested delicately, her Hermes scarf twisting in her nervous fingers. We want to project success in these photos, dear. What they didn't know was that my embarrassing tech startup had just closed its Series F funding at a $3.2 billion valuation. The failure they were excluding from family photos had more liquid assets than everyone else in the frame combined. Of course, Mother, I replied softly, adjusting my deliberately basic sweater that cost more than her monthly country club dues. I wouldn't want my little app thing to ruin the family image. My phone buzzed discreetly, another notification from my private banker. Ms. Williams, your latest acquisition has been completed. Rothschild & Co. confirms transfer of $500 million to your accounts. I smiled, remembering Dad's lecture last Christmas about how I was throwing away my potential on internet games, instead of joining the family investment firm. If he only knew that his firm's biggest client was now secretly my company. Emily, at least try to look busy with the camera, Dad called out, straightening his Rolex, the one he'd bought to celebrate Thomas's promotion. We can't have you just standing there like a failure. I finished his sentence, knowing what would happen in exactly 47 minutes when the Wall Street Journal published their annual 40 Under 40 list. The photographer continued clicking away, capturing the successful family members in their carefully curated poses. Meanwhile, my AI company was silently processing 70% of global financial transactions through systems I'd coded myself. There's still a junior analyst position open at the firm, Thomas offered loudly enough for everyone to hear. You know, if you're finally ready to do something serious. I checked my watch, 3:13 p.m. In less than an hour, he'd discovered that his entire division had been processing trades through my platform for the past year. The family continued preening for photos, their positions arranged by net worth. Or at least what they thought was net worth. My mother's social media post would caption it, "The Williams Legacy of Excellence." My phone buzzed again. Urgent. Wall Street Journal requesting comment on 40 Under 40 cover story. Your net worth disclosure will go live at 4 p.m. I glanced at my father, still adjusting his tie for the perfect power pose. Soon he'd learn that his embarrassment daughter could buy and sell his entire firm with her monthly dividend payments alone. Emily, dear, Mother called out, perhaps you could get us all some water? The successful ones need to stay fresh for these photos. As I turned to leave, my banking app pinged with another update. Confirmation. Purchase of Williams Investment Building complete. Transfer of $400 million processed. I smiled, knowing I now owned the very building where they'd refused to give me an office. In 45 minutes, the family's carefully constructed hierarchy would shatter as headlines announced. Tech's hidden billionaire. Emily Williams emerges as Silicon Valley's richest under 30. Dad's birthday photos were about to get very interesting indeed. 3:45 p.m. 15 minutes until the Wall Street Journal article would drop. The photographer was still arranging the successful family members while I stood in the background, quietly checking my portfolio updates. Emily, darling, Mother called out, her voice dripping with practiced concern. Do try to look a bit more professional. The Vanderbilts will see these photos. If she only knew the Vanderbilts had been begging to invest in my latest funding round. My phone lit up with another private message. Forbes requesting confirmation. Is $3.2 billion net worth figure accurate? Our calculations suggest closer to $4 billion after recent acquisitions. I suppressed a smile, remembering last Thanksgiving when Dad had lectured me about basic financial literacy, after I declined his offer of a $50,000 loan to get a real job. Thomas, the photographer directed, maybe show off that new Patek Philippe your father got you for making partner? My brother proudly displayed his $95,000 watch, roughly what my company earned in interest every hour. Sarah, angle your Yale Law diploma toward the camera, Mother instructed. We want everyone to see what real achievement looks like. I checked my investment app. The automated trading algorithm I'd written during their last intervention about my career choices had just cleared another $40 million in profits. 3:50 p.m. 10 minutes to go. Emily, Dad sighed, at least try to stand up straight. Your posture screams, startup failure. My phone buzzed again. Breaking. Williams Investment Building ownership transfer complete. Would you like to proceed with renaming to Emily Technologies Tower? I glanced at my father's monogrammed cufflinks, his prized symbol of making it in finance. The building he'd worked 40 years to lease space in was now my smallest real estate holding. 3:55 p.m. 5 minutes. Maybe we should do one set without Emily, Thomas suggested, adjusting his partner nameplate. For the firm's website, clients expect a certain image. My banking app pinged, monthly revenue report, $2.1 billion, up 300% YOY. That was more than his entire division would make in a decade. 3:58 p.m. 2 minutes. Last shots everyone, the photographer called. Show me success. Show me power. Mother was already planning which country club walls would display these photos of her achieving children. 3:59 p.m. 1 minute. My phone started buzzing continuously as the embargoed press releases prepared to go live. Tech stealth billionaire revealed. Emily Williams, the richest person in the room. Startup failure, worth more than family firm. 4 p.m. The photographer's camera clicked just as every phone in the room started ringing simultaneously. The Wall Street Journal notification lit up everyone's screens. Emily Williams emerges as tech's newest billionaire. Family failure built $4 billion empire in secret. Startup founder outturns entire family combined. Dad's Rolex stopped catching the light as his hand froze mid-pose. Emily, he stammered, staring at his phone, what is this? I finally stepped into the photo frame, taking my rightful place at the center. This, I smiled, is what success actually looks like. The photographer's flash kept firing automatically, capturing every microsecond of the family's unraveling facade. Their perfectly practiced poses crumbled as headlines continued flooding their phones. Emily Williams' startup processes 70% of global financial transactions. Wall Street's failure daughter secretly controls banking infrastructure. Family firm unknowingly operating on daughter's technology. Impossible, Thomas muttered, frantically opening his trading terminal. This has to be a mistake. The only mistake, I said, pulling out my own phone, was assuming your trading platform was built by your firm. Who did you think designed TradeSphere Pro? His face went pale as he realized the system he'd been bragging about at every family dinner was my creation. But you're not even good at math, Sarah stuttered, her Yale Law diploma suddenly feeling very light. Dad always said. Dad said a lot of things, I interrupted, pulling up my company's portfolio. Like how my little computer hobby would never amount to anything. Meanwhile, my algorithms handle more money in an hour than his firm does in a year. Mother's carefully curated social mask began to crack as more notifications appeared. Emily Technologies acquires Williams Investment Building. Startup founder buys family firm's headquarters. Failed daughter now family's landlord. The building. Dad whispered, his power pose completely abandoned. You bought our building? Actually, I replied, scrolling through my holdings, I bought the entire block. The building was just an afterthought, like I apparently was in all those family photos. The photographer, sensing the shifting power dynamics, automatically began reframing his shots with me in the center. But your clothes. Mother gestured weakly at my simple outfit. Your small apartment. My small apartment is the entire top floor of a building I own, I said. And this basic sweater? It's from my own luxury techwear line. The one that's worth more than Dad's entire investment portfolio. More headlines flashed. Emily Williams reveals stealth empire. Asterisk $4 billion personal net worth. Asterisk 70% market share in financial technology. Asterisk owner of 30+ prime Manhattan properties. Asterisk founder of world's largest AI trading platform. All those times you wouldn't give me a job, I continued, watching Thomas's partner nameplate suddenly look painfully small. I was actually your biggest client. Every trade you bragged about. processed through my systems. Every genius investment strategy, powered by my AI. Sarah's legal pad dropped to the floor as another notification appeared. Emily Technologies to revolutionize legal industry with AI. Yale Law School adopts Williams' legal AI platform. Top law firms switch to Emily's automated systems. By the way, sis, I added, that big case you just won? My AI wrote 90% of your arguments. The judge was quite impressed with your innovative legal strategy. The photographer's camera kept clicking, documenting the exact moment when the family's hierarchy imploded. Each flash captured another crack in their carefully constructed reality. And Dad, I turned to face him directly, about that junior analyst position you kept offering me. I'm actually hiring, I continued, watching my father's face transition through every stage of grief. Though I should warn you, entry-level positions at Emily Technologies require advanced coding skills and AI proficiency. The screens behind us, installed for Dad's birthday presentation, now displayed a cascade of breaking news. Emily Technologies' market cap exceeds $50 billion. Failed daughter's company now worth 100x family firm. Williams Investment Group revealed as minor subsidiary of Emily Tech. You've been working for me for months, I explained, pulling up acquisition documents on my phone. Remember that mysterious investor who bought a controlling stake in Williams Investment Group last quarter? The one you celebrated with a 3-hour speech about your legacy. Thomas frantically loosened his Hermes tie. But the board approval was processed through my AI governance system, I finished. The same one you called amateur hour at Christmas dinner. Right before you used it to approve your own bonus. Mother sank into a nearby chair, her social media post about the Williams legacy still unfinished on her phone. Your country club membership? I continued. I bought the club last year. That exclusive summer house in the Hamptons? My real estate AI flagged it as an undervalued asset. I own the entire row of houses now. The photographer had completely abandoned the original composition, now documenting what would clearly be a historic moment in business journalism. Emily, Dad finally managed, his voice barely a whisper. Why didn't you tell us? I gestured to the wall of family photos behind us, years of celebrations where I'd been relegated to the edges or excluded entirely. You never asked, I replied simply. Too busy positioning Thomas and Sarah in the center of every photo. Too focused on the right kind of success to notice I was building the future. My phone buzzed with another update. Emily Technologies announces revolutionary AI platform. Traditional banking jobs threatened by Williams' new system. Family firms face extinction as tech takes over. Oh, and about those photos, I added, nodding to my PR team as they entered the room. We're doing a new shoot. For Forbes. They want to feature me on the cover. Sarah's Yale Law diploma slipped from her grip. But the family image is about to change dramatically, I finished, pulling up the company's latest press release. Emily Technologies is launching a global initiative to fund failed children like me. We're calling it the Edge of the Photo Fund, $10 billion to support entrepreneurs whose families put them in the background. The screens updated with the announcement. Emily Williams pledges $10 billion to overlooked entrepreneurs. Tech billionaire turns family rejection into revolution. Failed daughter funds next generation of innovators. So, I smiled, taking my place at the center of the room. Shall we take that family photo now? Though I should mention, the Williams Investment Building lobby will need new pictures. Since I own it, I get to choose who's featured. The photographer raised his camera as my family realized their carefully constructed hierarchy had just been completely inverted. Happy birthday, Dad, I said softly. I got you exactly what you always wanted. A successful child in the family photos. Just not the one you expected. 1 year later. The same room, same photographer, but an entirely different dynamic. The annual Williams family photo session had taken on new meaning since my empire went public. Emily, center position please, the photographer directed. Thomas, Sarah, perhaps a bit further to the edges? My siblings, now mid-level employees at Emily Technologies, shuffled awkwardly in their company-issued attire. Thomas's Patek Philippe had been replaced by a smartwatch from our tech line. Sarah's Yale diploma hung in a back corridor of what was now Emily Tower. Annual performance reviews are coming up, I mentioned casually, adjusting my CEO stance. Thomas, your coding bootcamp scores are improving, but you'll need to master quantum algorithms to advance beyond junior developer. The screens behind us displayed our current metrics. Emily Technologies' market cap hits $200 billion. Traditional banking obsolete as AI takes over. Williams' siblings adapt to new tech reality. Mother nervously smoothed her dress. No longer Chanel, but from our company's sustainable fashion line. Darling, about the country club board position. Has been automated, I finished. Our AI social coordinator handles member relations now. But you're doing great with the digital transformation training program. Dad stood quietly in his new role as historical archives consultant, documenting how traditional banking used to work before my systems revolutionized finance. His office, once the cornerstone of Williams Investment Group, was now a coding classroom for recent graduates. Annual report highlights, my AI assistant projected. Emily Technologies processes 90% of global transactions. Asterisk traditional banking jobs reduced by 75%. Asterisk Williams Investment Group fully absorbed into AI division. Asterisk family firms worldwide transitioning to Emily Tech Systems. Remember last year's birthday? I asked, watching the photographer adjust his settings. When you all thought putting me in the background of photos would somehow make me less successful? Sarah clutched her tablet where she was studying basic programming instead of legal briefs. Emily, about all those times. Save it for your technical review, I cut in. Your algorithm efficiency needs work, and sentiment analysis won't help your performance metrics. The screens flashed with more updates. Emily Williams launches Global Tech Education Initiative. Edge of the Photo Fund creates 1,000 new tech billionaires. Banking dynasties crumble as tech takes over. The funny thing about success, I continued as the photographer captured our new family hierarchy, is that it looks different than it did in all those old photos. No more suits and ties, no more leather-bound portfolios, no more measuring worth by which schools you attended. Thomas adjusted his developer badge, the same level as recent college graduates. The coding bootcamp is really challenging. It should be, I replied. We're rebuilding the entire financial system. Though I must say it's interesting watching you learn to code at 40. Especially after you called it a waste of time at 20. Mother's social media influence had dropped from Manhattan elite to tech company parent, her posts now carefully monitored by our PR AI. One last shot, the photographer called out. Emily, perhaps that signature CEO pose? Family members, remember your positions. Dad straightened his company-issued lanyard, the same one he once mocked as tech culture nonsense. Princess, about my performance review. Dad, I smiled, you'll need to submit that through the proper channels. Just like you made me do with all those job applications you rejected. The final photos would show exactly what happened when the failed daughter reinvented success. Asterisk the sister who mocked my coding now debugging basic scripts. Asterisk the brother who dismissed tech now struggling with entry-level programming. Asterisk the parents who wanted traditional success now learning digital transformation. Asterisk and me, the edge of the photo failure, standing dead center in every shot. Happy birthday to me, I said softly as the camera captured our new reality. It's amazing how much can change in a year when you let the failure run the family.